She is broke as can be, yet she is dressed head to toe in luxury brands. She films videos in someone else's mansion pretending to be a socialite, and shamelessly claims it is her private villa. But the moment she gets back to her real home, she snaps at her mother. All because her mother spilled some water on her designer bag. She blames her mother for being clumsy and totally useless. Her mother apologizes in a small quiet voice, but her father also curses at her mother for being careless, because the whole family is counting on their pretty daughter to use her looks to marry into a wealthy family, so they can finally escape poverty and live rich for the rest of their lives. It turns out the girl's mother works as a housekeeper in a mansion, and because the owners often travel abroad for business, the girl uses those chances to take photos in the mansion, branding herself as a rich heiress to attract wealthy men. Other than occasionally getting creeped on by a sleazy boss, she almost never gets any real access to true high society. But an opportunity shows up fast. Her aunt, who built her life by cozying up to rich people, actually offers to take the girl to an elite dinner party. Her aunt pulls out a dazzling spread of fake jewelry, and tells Annie to pick a few pieces to help her look the part. Vain Annie immediately goes for the biggest diamond ring, but her aunt stops her right away, because a diamond that big is way too noticeable. People would spot the knockoff in seconds. Then her aunt tells Annie her presence has to be strong. Sometimes people cannot tell what's real and what's not, so that first classy impression matters most. After her aunt gives her a full makeover, Annie stuns everyone in a low-key but luxurious white gown. Sure enough, the moment she walks in, all the men at the party look her way. Her aunt praises her for doing a great job. A perfect first impression has already been made. The first person her aunt introduces is a jewelry store owner, but Annie thinks he is way too old. Next, her aunt introduces the son of a garage owner, but Annie complains his business sounds too low class. Her aunt lines up one rich kid after another, but Annie either thinks they are too short or too ugly. Just as Annie is about to move somewhere else to hunt for better prey, she bumps right into a handsome rich heir, and clearly he is a little taken with Annie. Her aunt strikes while the iron is hot and tells Annie to lock this guy down. But this rich heir is a playboy. There are countless women lining up to throw themselves at him. He pulls out his phone and asks for Annie's number, but her sharp aunt cuts in immediately, making an excuse and pulling Annie away. Do not hand out your number so easily. A girl has to hold herself higher. If you are too easy to get, you look cheap. Men will think you are just a toy. But not long after, her heels start rubbing her feet raw, so Annie goes to rest in an empty gazebo. To her surprise, a gentleman offers her blister pads. Turns out his family business sells high-end women's shoes, and the pads he has with him are a new product his company is launching. He thoughtfully helps Annie put them on. Every word and gesture gives off true upper-class polish. Annie is very pleased with this young rich gentleman. Right then, her aunt walks over at the perfect moment, and lies that Annie's family does clothing export business. But before she can finish, the gentleman's mother calls. From the conversation it is clear, he is a total mama's boy. After he leaves, Annie complains he has no backbone, but her aunt tells Annie not to be so picky. Your goal is to marry into money and become a rich wife. Back at the party, it is the hostess' birthday. The hostess asks everyone to close their eyes and make a wish. And of course, Annie's wish is to find her Prince Charming. But when she opens her eyes, she really does see a handsome man smiling at her. In that moment, it feels like time itself stops. Annie is sure she has met the one. She wants to ask her aunt who he is, but the two rich heirs Annie just met earlier both walk over at the same time asking for her number. And by coincidence, those two rich heirs are sworn rivals. Seeing this, her aunt quickly pulls Annie away, reminding Annie never to chase wealthy men. The harder you are to get, the more charm you have. After the party ends, Annie spots a luxury car. Vain as she wants to take a photo with it, but the owner suddenly walks over, and it just happens to be the man Annie likes most. Annie awkwardly says she used to have the same car, so she came over to take a look. Luckily, he does not suspect anything. Instead, he seems even more interested in Annie. Just as Annie keeps spinning lies and playing the socialite, her mother suddenly calls. Annie panics and hangs up right away. Then she goes for a drive with the man and they head to the park. As their conversation deepens, Annie learns his name is Parker. Not only is his family extremely wealthy, but his annual income is measured in the hundreds of billions. That makes Annie like Parker even more, and the mood between them slowly turns flirtatious. But when the moment feels right, Annie plays hard to get and stands up, saying it is getting late and she needs to go home. Parker apologizes to Annie for being too forward earlier. Before leaving, they take a photo together as a keepsake. Back home, Annie impatiently scolds her mother. Why did you have to call me at the worst possible time? Her mother sits hunched on a stool without saying a word. Her younger brother angrily says Mom had a stomachache earlier. She could not reach anyone, so she called Annie. But when he hears Mom is sick, her father only curses that she will waste money on medicine again. The family starts fighting again over money. But Annie is used to scenes like this. Her only wish is to marry into money, so she can finally end this miserable broke life. The next day on her way to work, Annie looks around and sees no one nearby. Then she buys a scratch-off ticket like she is doing something shady. But a gust of wind blows and snatches the ticket from her hand. She jogs after it, and the ticket lands on a man. To Annie's surprise, she runs into last night's heart-stopping guy once again.